Hi guys, it's Chris with City Your Homestead. Time for Thankful Thursday. So today's Thankful Thursday, I want to do something a little bit different. So make sure you grab a piece of paper and a pen. And the things that I tell you, you can actually look up on Pinterest and find the recipes and it'll be good. So before we get started, let's get to prayer and then I'll tell you what's different, and we're still going to read Bible verses and stuff. Heavenly Father, thank you for everyone that's here, everyone that steps in for a second, or the ones that watch the whole thing. I ask that you wrap your arms around this world, these people, from here in the United States to all over the world. Let them feel you and hear you and just know that you're there to get them through whatever they need to get through. I ask that you heal and you protect. I ask that you answer prayers that people ask about health or financial, emotional, mental, whatever it happens to be. I ask that you be the Father that we know that you are, and that we continue to follow you and believe and trust in you for everything that we need, want, and desire. We know that through you, everything is possible. Know that we love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, here in the United States, they're opening back up the government, so, people are going to get their EBT, food stamps, whatever you want to call them. So hopefully those people will be okay. I've been doing the struggle meals with me and other channels, and we're up to, I think, 53 or 55 videos, so make sure you watch them. They're not just mine, they're from all other channels, and there'll be more adding towards the end of the month. And it's going to be a month-long series, and I think there have been some really good things that's come through. So I thought about it. It's been really tugging at my heart. And so today I'm going to feel what my heart feels. When I started the struggle meals, a lot of it was because of people losing their EBT and whatever. But, there are so many people out there that don't get EBT. They might be just short of it, being able to qualify for it, or, too proud to do it, whatever it happens to be. And there are a lot of people out there that, true to God, are struggling, and they're having a very hard time eating, and not just eating, but paying their bills or whatever. People are losing their jobs. There's layoffs. There's all different kinds of things. Now, there are some good things that are going to be happening, and that's good, and that's what I look forward to. And I've seen such a faith in men and women in our country since the government shutdown. Like tonight, there's a drive-through food for, it's only hot dogs and stuff like that, but over at a church on the west side. And you don't even get out of your car. You just tell them how many people, and they bring the food in boxes to you that's already cooked, and you can go home and have dinner. I have seen the food pantries and like the little buildings around town that have been filling things up. I've seen people, on videos that are making meals in a bag and they're taking them to their local food pantry. I've seen everything that I felt that our nation was built on. That we are to help and take care of each other. And honestly, I have been really proud of my fellow countrymen during this time because, I'm not going to get teary. We weren't meant to live off the government. We were meant to depend on each other and the churches and the other organizations, because when it comes down to it, you look at a lot of like the hurricanes and whatever that have gone through big floodings. It's been the people that do so much more because there isn't the government red tape to go through. They just know what needs to be done and they get it done. And so I am so proud of the people in our country and others that are stepping up when they need to. So this has really tugged at my heart. And I kind of wanted to wait until the government opened to be able to talk about it. But I was sitting here today and I could hear this nudge, Chris. This is what I want you to talk about. And then I seen a video today, and I'm going to post a link to that video below so that you can watch it too. So let's get into the Bible verses. And I typed in Bible verses on hunger for food. And when we do this, you know, our bodies crave food, but know that we also crave, we crave fulfillment other ways too. And, you know, whatever religion or whatever you believe in, but as for me, I know that sometimes I crave God so bad because I don't know where else to turn. If that makes any sense. Like, you're in this dark woods and all the flashlights can't see you, but God can. And you come out the other side of that woods and there's this beautiful bright sunlight, you know, field and whatever, and you got through it. And it wasn't through hands of other people. It was God guiding you. And so I think sometimes we have to listen to what he says. And if we just quiet our minds, we can hear not necessarily words, but feelings that come from our heart. And I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try not to get emotional for this. So it says the Bible offers numerous verses that addresses the topic of hunger and the importance of feeding the hungry. Here are some key verses that highlights the biblical perspective on hunger and the act of feeding the hungry. Matthew 25:35. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. This verse emphasizes the importance of hospitality and compassion in our interactions with others. And you guys know that I will take food down to the homeless, and we've done bags and stuff like that. We haven't in the last couple weeks because we've been using our leftovers for my lunches and our breakfast or whatever, because groceries are getting expensive and I don't want to spend all my money on food. We've had to buy another vehicle. We had to spend almost $5,000 on insurance to get us through a year. And, you know, so I need to save where I can. And food is one of the places that you can save the most. And so, you know what? So you have Mexican goulash for breakfast. It's breakfast. But, you know, here in Lansing, you will see homeless on every corner. You will see people asking for money on every corner. I don't give money to anybody. I will, if they're hungry, I will get them something to eat, but I won't give them money. And I'm sure you guys can guess some of the reasons why. But anyways, if someone's hungry, of course I'm going to feed them. You know, I had a lady a few years back, 6 o'clock in the morning, Tom had just left for work. And she's knocking on my door, and I'm getting up out of bed. And it's a homeless lady, and she's knocking. And I go, can I help you? And she's like, you're the only one that's answered the door. And she says, I am just so hungry. You know, do you have anything to eat? And I says, well, I don't have much, but let me look and see what I got. So I shut the door. I'm not going to let her in. I don't know her. It's early in the morning, still dark out. All I could find is a couple bottles of water, some chips, and I think I made her a sandwich too or something. And I go, I'm sorry, it's nothing fancy. She goes, thank you, thank you. You don't know how much that means to me. So literally, I fed someone that came to the door. And, you know, if someone needs things, you know, I will go through the house and see if I can find them and give them what they need. And I think that we need to, as men and women, even children, and, you know, see what we can do for others. Like a company I used to work for, we had this, I don't know what you can call it anymore, but every year we would get together. You can see when the sunlight comes in. every year we'd get together and all of our sales built points up, and we'd either have an auction or we'd go in to this room and we'd pick out all these different things, you know. So my kids would always want me to get the video games, you know, like, do you remember the handheld ones? I can't even remember what they're called. But anyway, I'd go and I'd earn those and I'd get them for my kids. The thing is, before they could get them, Nintendos, that's what they were, before Switch came out. See if I can turn where the sun's not going to get so much. So what I'd tell my kids is, okay, you're going to get this PlayStation, or you're going to get this, or you're going to get that. They're on points that I've earned all year from my sales. There's one hitch. And there's like, what's that, Mom? You have to donate the ones that you have. So we take them down the road here to the children's home and we donate them. Before they could get other certain things, and they'd have to, like, if they, you know, before Christmas and birthdays and whatever, they'd go through their toys and we'd go through their clothes and whatever, and they would donate those things. Because they were fortunate enough to get those things. Other kids weren't. So I am so proud of my sons. I'm not going to get teary. They truly learned from that. They, they are some of the most giving and beautiful men I've ever known. And their wives are the same way. Like Courtney, she will load up stuff to give things away, and if somebody needs something, she's looking for it. And I am so proud to have put that into my kids, and I'm trying to put that into my grandkids too, that, you know, it makes you so proud that even if they're not rich, which they're not, they're willing to give of themselves, their time, their money, their things that they have, and I'm so proud of them. Sorry, I promise not to get all weepy about this stuff. Anyway, Isaiah 58:10. If you give some of your own food to those who are hungry, and to satisfy the needs of those who are humble, then your light will rise in the dark, and your darkness will become as bright as the noonday sun. This verse encourages generosity and sharing of resources with those in need. And that's so funny. I didn't read these beforehand. But like going through the dark woods, coming out to the light at the end, and light, darkness to light, you know, and I really didn't read these first. But I think that when you help other people, and and you know what, helping other people, I don't want you guys to think, you know what, I've got to give my last bit of groceries to someone else to do good. You could be turning in those recipes that, you know, are so simple and so easy that it's so affordable that people can eat. You know, you could be, you know, doing things that cost you nothing to help people out. And that's something that, you know, sometimes we forget. And, you know, if you do have a little bit of money, you know, beans, rice, different things like that, you know, that you can help someone out with is a good thing. But you know what I've noticed? I watch in a lot of these videos, and a lot of these people sincerely don't know how to cook. And I think back about it, you know, when I was younger, and like I said in one of my videos, I cooked everything in rotation because it's what I knew. It's what I learned to do for myself, for my family, and that's it. And that's the one thing I like about my channel, is I keep doing different things all the time, and I like scour and scour the internet looking for different stuff or come up with different ideas. But you know what? I never cooked rice, minute rice. To this day, I've never cooked a bean myself other than putting it in the pressure canner, or, you know, putting it into my Instapot or whatever. There's so many people that don't know how to learn and don't know how to cook. And that's what's sad. And so You know, I've offered services to a church and they haven't taken me up on it. But, you know, even if you can help a family learn how to cook certain things, you might be doing something that is so far beneficial that it's not even funny. Like, you know, like the saying from the Bible, you know, you give a person a fish, they'll eat for the day. If you teach them how to fish, they'll, you know, eat for a lifetime. And kind of the same thing if you learn how to cook. That doesn't always mean you have to cook the healthiest, because, you know, when it comes to feeding your family, sometimes you can't afford the healthiest. Proverbs 19:17. The one who is gracious to the poor lends to the Lord, and the Lord will repay him for his good deed. This verse highlights the spiritual rewards of being generous to the needy. Now, we all know as Christians, you can't make it to heaven on just your good deeds. It just doesn't happen. Don't you wish that could? I mean, we'd all be doing just great for everybody, and you know, that would be how we get to heaven, but that's not how we get there. But I think that spiritually, mentally, emotionally, you become, I don't want to say proud, because we shouldn't be proud. We become fulfilled, maybe, is that the word? But we feel better when we can do for others. And what I've noticed is usually it's the poor people that will help the other poor. You know, I mean, there are some rich people that reach down and do good things, but like I seen down at the park downtown, they had a thing over the weekend where I guess now we pass out cards to the homeless that proves you're homeless. I don't know. But anyway, they had all these different organizations, you know, like Dick's Sporting Goods and I don't know who else, but they were passing out, you know, like pop-up tents and sleeping bags, blankets, different kinds of things, and they had a lineup. And, you know, they were passing all these things out, getting people ready for winter. And so some of the organizations actually stepped up and they really helped, and I think that's great. Tom's cousin used to work for Angels something, I don't remember what it is. But a couple of weeks ago, we have a homeless encampment across the river. It's a big dispute over there right now. They've had to go to court and everything else because they've taken up two people's properties over there, and they won't let them bring in porta potties or garbage, and it's just nasty over there. They want the owners to clean it up. Well, the owners have nothing to do with people that are squatting on their property. But, you know, they help each other. I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyway, they help each other out, you know, over there. The organizations help. The guy's saying, okay, you can stay on my land, but you just got to keep it clean. You know what I mean? So people do step in and they try. I don't even know where I was going with that, so never mind. But anyway, it's that, my doctor used to call it motherhood's disease, where you forget all kinds of stuff. Anyway, Matthew 10:42. I tell all of you with certainty, whoever gives you a cup of cold water to one of these little ones because he is a disciple will never lose his reward. This verse emphasizes the importance of providing basic needs to those in need. And, you know, sometimes that's all people need is a cup of water. When you think about it, sometimes what a person truly needs isn't that much. You know? I seen today where, oh, I guess it was yesterday, or the day before, I watched Renee's, and she got some Twinkies, I think it was, and sometimes you just crave a Twinkie. I'm not one of those, but you know what I'm saying. Sometimes it's something very, very little, very simple that can satisfy someone. These verses serve as a reminder of the biblical call to care for the hungry and the importance of sharing our resources and hospitality with those who are in need. They encourage believers to actively participate in the mission of feeding the hungry and to embody the compassion and generosity that are central in the Christian faith. And I do believe that. I do believe that, you know, we're brought up to take care of one another. I know my grandfather was born in 1900. my grandma in 1923. And we've talked about it before. My grandparents were poor. They lived on like $200 a month and $7 in food stamps or something. But anyway, they were poor. And, you know, if you needed something, if you needed a meal or whatever, I mean, they would do whatever. I remember when my uncle first lost his job and he was in a lot of trouble. My grandma took her station wagon around to all of her local neighbors, and she said, my son is having trouble feeding his family. Do you have anything that I can get to take up to him? And I actually told his daughters, those were my cousins that came down, and we went out to lunch and stuff, and I told them that story, and they didn't realize. But I gave them stuff. I was young, very young, and it's probably maybe about 20 or 21, something like that. But I watched her go door by door, and people bringing out food and putting it in the trunk of her car. You know, you guys, I mean, how often do you see something like that now? And my grandma jumped in the car, and she drove from Vesterberg to Harrison. And when she got there, she gave my uncle and my aunt and their 2 kids that entire trunk full of food. And, you know, she couldn't afford to do it. So she depended on her neighbors to help her to feed her kids. And even though my uncle was grown and had children of his own, my grandma was going to make sure that that family ate. And when my cousins heard that story, because they were just little girls when that happened, they were like, really? And I'm like, yeah. Grandma was broke. You know, she couldn't do a whole lot for us at Christmas and birthdays and all that, but her heart was always in the right place, and so was my grandpa's. And they would never watch someone go hungry, no matter what. And I think that through time, you know, and innovations and all those things, we tend to forget that stuff. And then they made everything so easy to make. You know, everything was in boxes and this and that and whatever. That I think, too, we've forgotten how to cook, how to provide for our families. So today is not about the EBT people. They'll be fine. It's about all those people that are working, and they're working their tails off, or they're on Social Security and they don't make enough, or, you know, you got slammed with a bunch of bills and you just got to save money somewhere. And believe me, I know our savings went from, you know, AJ was excited maybe we'd be getting a camper, to I told him that's not going to happen for a long, long time now. And he asked me why, and I said, you know, he had to pay a big insurance bill, and we had to buy a car, and now there isn't anything left. And he's like, well, I can come up with ideas for you to make money, Grandma. He's going to be a little entrepreneur. But, you know, sometimes that happens. You know, you get an unexpected bill, so what you thought you'd spend on groceries, that's not going to happen. So let's learn how to help one another. Let's learn how to cook. Let's learn how to be human towards one another. And, you know, never look down on anyone that's in a lower position than you. Because tomorrow, you could end up even in a lower position than them. Each day is not guaranteed. I'm sorry about the sun, you guys. Let me see if I can fix it a little bit. I'm not sorry about the sun, because I like to see the sun. But you never know what tomorrow will bring and what unexpected things, you know, like right now I'm grateful that we had that savings so that we could do the things we had to do. I look at my bank account right now and I want to cry. But What if I wouldn't have had anything saved up? We'd be in a world of hurt right now. We'd be in a really world of hurt. So just keep a prayer nothing else happens, because there's no money there. But, you know, it'll take time. And we're far better off than had we not been doing that. And we're far better off than people that don't have anything. So I'm grateful and just so grateful and feel so blessed that, you know, we're doing okay. Might be a little tighter right now, but we're doing okay. But if you know that family that's really hurting, you know, and or a single person or an elderly couple or whatever, and you know that they could use just a little bit of help, and if you can do it, help them out. I mean, even if it's you bake them a loaf of bread, or, you know, take them some cookies or something like that, because a lot of people that, you know, are really broke with their money, they don't have money for cookies or, you know, cakes or pies or anything like that. So maybe a nice little homemade gift. And when it gets closer to the holidays, I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do for my family this year. And maybe some of you can do the same thing or something like it. So anyway, I watched a video, because this is getting really long. I'm sorry, guys. I watched a video on things that they made during the Depression to get them through. And I'll put the video down there, but I'm going to mention the recipes that were in there. And actually, some of these I've made. And, you know, I think that we don't realize when we were kids how actually our parents might have been broke. Or if it just became natural things that they passed down the line. I don't know which. But I think about, you know, the meals that were made for us as kids. And either that came from their families, or it did come from their families and they need to pass it on because they need to, you know, struggle meals too. So I'm not sure how it is, and none of my family's alive anymore. Oh, and by the way, if you could, my Aunt Nancy had a stroke yesterday. She's the last aunt that I have, actually. So if you could please pray for her. They think that they got her in time, and I'm not sure. We haven't gotten any updates on her at all, but if you could pray for her. Her name is Nancy. I got a half uncle left too, but that's it. My family's all like gone. All right, so let me read these recipes out. I'm not going to give you the recipe, but the title name, and then you can go on Pinterest or on the internet and find them. Hoover stew, which I have made, and it was really, really good. Mulligan stew. Beans and cornbread. Macaroni and tomatoes. Came from my grandma to my mom to me, and I love it. Potato soup. That's something that I've been learning from other people's videos. You can make with just water, potatoes, and onions. You don't have to have milk. You don't have to have ham. You don't have to have anything in there except potatoes and water. Cabbage and noodles. I think we did that once. I'd have to look it up. Bread and gravy. I just thought about that. Bread and gravy. Do you know my grandpa? Like I said, he was born in 1900. And we'd have a big dinner, you know, for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And at the end of the dinner, we'd hand him the gravy. And he'd used to get, you know, he used to get a piece of bread out, and he'd pour that gravy over top of it. And he called it his, that was his banana cream pie. I don't know why I didn't think of it, even when I heard the video today. But it just occurred to me, after every big meal, if there was gravy left, which usually there was, he'd always take a piece of bread and he'd pour that gravy over it, and he'd call it his banana cream pie. So must be that came from, you know, back in the hard times. Milk toast, soup beans, rice and beans, potato pancakes, cabbage stew, dumplings and broth, liver and onions, which I love. And you'll see in the video where basically the organ meat, a lot of the butchers were just basically giving that away. And it got to be to the point where the families, the kids even liked the organ meat better than the regular meat because they'd learn how to cook it differently. And like when I had daycare, I used to own a house a street over, and I had daycare over there, and my kids loved liver and onions. But if you'd even mention it to daycare kids, they'd be like, ugh. So I cooked mine in a electric frying pan, and I'd let it like just simmer all day with the onions and everything in it, and I would pull it out and I would feed it to them. I'd give them A1 sauce. Those daycare kids, so you guys that do watch me, you've ate liver. And they'd put A1 sauce on it, and they sincerely thought I was feeding them steak. And we would do that once or twice a month. So those kids have ate a lot of liver and didn't realize it. Okay. Salmon patties, my mom used to make them all the time. Chili beans. Cornmeal mush, I've never made it. I think it's something like grits too, and I don't like grits, so. I always have a piece of hair stuck there. Cabbage rolls with rice, and then hash. And I made a hash last weekend. So, there's a few things, and I will go back and find that video, and I'd post it below. And, you know, especially with the holidays, do you ever get that one stray hair that just, ugh. But anyways, especially with the holidays coming, you know, don't think that you have to go out and buy a big old turkey or a big old ham or anything like that, even if you have a big family. You know, do something that you can afford. Like, I thought about doing that, there, I found it. You know, where I made that thing that had the mashed potatoes and the turkey and the gravy and cranberry sauce and stuffing and all that in one pan and doing that. But I've decided on something different. So, Thanksgiving this year, I don't know why I feel that this year. Normally I'll take the kids to Chinese or something so everybody get what they want. But I've been watching more videos, and I think the reason for not wanting to cook a great big meal is because I cook this big old meal, and then we sit around the table for like 30 minutes, and then I jump up and I start cleaning up everything and washing the dishes and whatever. And everybody's out here and they're chatting and they're talking and they're laughing and whatever. And I miss out on my family time. So I want to make it something simple and easy this year so that I can be in here when my family's in here and spend time with them, because it isn't even about what you make for that meal. It's about being with your family, your friends, whatever it happens to be. And I want more time with my family this year over cooking a big old turkey meal and whatever. So I'm not going to have a whole lot of, you know, like, oh, you should make this for Thanksgiving. There won't be a lot of that this year because I want to do something different so I can have quality family time. Because it's hard. You people that have kids, you know that it's hard to get all of your kids in the house at one time. This year we'll have just my sons here for Thanksgiving like usual. Well, it wasn't usual till Nate moved to Tennessee. But it's just too far for him to come for one day. But will be here for Christmas, which I'm pretty excited about. I don't know how long he's staying now that he's got a girlfriend and all that, you know. I don't think he'll be up here 10 days like he was last time. But I know today was kind of not even close to my Thankful Thursdays, but I hope that the verses that I read help you, and that, you know, I hope that something in today's video touches you. And, you know, if you need help, you know, 211 here in the United States, doesn't matter what state you live in, we'll send you to a place that will help you with what you need. If you live in other countries and whatever, churches, local organizations, whatever, will help you with things that you need. And especially this time of year, a lot of them are doing things for like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it happens to be. But reach out to your local churches, your local organizations, because I guarantee you they will help you more than waiting on the government to do it. So, yeah. Hopefully it wasn't just a whole bunch of rambling on. Oh my gosh, it's 35 minutes. Sorry about that. Not really, but, well, I'm sorry, but if I say that, then, you know, somebody will get after me. But anyway, but I really hope that it helped today, and it was really a true calling on my heart, and I needed to address it. And I feel a lot better now that I have. I think sometimes God tells you to do something and you're not listening, and then when you do it, you're like, whew. So, yeah. If you need any prayers, I know there's been some prayers from last week and the week before. Make sure you pray for those people. And let's just pray for the entire world. It's not just the United States or Canada or whatever that's hurting. There's people all over the world that are, you know, hurting. And it's not just food. It could be all different kinds of things. So let's remember that coming into the holiday seasons here in the U.S. to make sure we pray for those people. Pray for everybody. You know, I truly believe in the power of prayer. And, you know, it's so funny because Courtney, every time something happens, she'll call me up and she goes, can you pray for this person? And her mom believes strongly in God too. And I don't know that Courtney does. I don't know if she believes or not. I really have never asked her that. But it's so amazing that she will call me and go, can you pray for this person? Because she knows that her mom and I believe in the power of prayer. And I do. Prayer is just, it's like an antibiotic. No, I'm kidding. I don't know how to put it, but prayer, I truly believe in it. I believe that if you don't ask, you won't receive, right? So anyway, if you have any prayers, put them below. I know it was a long, drawn-out video, but I will put the link to that video. It was pretty cute on there. And let's be good to one another. Let's love one another. Let's bless each other, and it doesn't have to be with money. Know that I love you, and I appreciate you guys so, so much. I couldn't be as far as I am without you. I really do love you guys. I do. And thank you so much for being a part of this community and helping to make me an even better person than I ever thought I could be. And that's in part to you guys too. You've helped me step into boundaries that I've never stepped into, you know, expand what I've already done or have been doing or can be doing. You guys have been helping me build on that and help my creativity and help build my faith stronger in God and help build my faith stronger in people. And for that I am grateful. And I'm crowded in the sun already. So anyway, I've taken up a lot of time. You guys have a blessed day. Be a blessing. And I'll see you guys at supper. I love you guys.